You sit alone in the quiet. You replay the last few months of your life, searching for the exact moment you made a mistake. You wonder how someone who treated you like the absolute center of his universe could vanish, leaving you to feel entirely worthless. This abrupt ending defies the standard rules of romance or mutual dissolution. You are processing the specific aftermath of a deployed psychological weapon. The person you encountered was not seeking a partner. He was identifying a target. He studied you, isolated your vulnerabilities, and moved in. You were hunted. This emotional tactic is uniquely devastating because it leaves no physical evidence. There are no bruises to photograph and no scars for a doctor to examine. Yet the cognitive damage can persist for decades, forcing survivors into a state of silent, isolated grief. The perpetrators of this tactic deploy it with predictable precision. Because of its sophistication, it routinely traps the strongest, most intelligent, and most emotionally aware individuals. Defending against it requires dissecting exactly how the trap is constructed. The pattern begins with intense, undivided focus. From the first conversation, he is overwhelmingly present. He remembers the name of your childhood dog. He texts you before you wake up. Within days, he claims you are unlike any human being he has ever encountered. This sudden rush of affection works because it feels earned. The manipulator listens intently to identify the specific emotional void you carry. If your previous partner was distant, he provides suffocating warmth. If you struggle to feel seen, he gazes at you like you are the only person in the room. Authentic romantic intensity breathes. It contains natural uncertainty and ordinary spaces of silence. Love bombing is relentless. It floods every emotional channel: future planning, physical attention, words of devotion, leaving you no room to evaluate who this person actually is. He is delivering a highly specific, calculated dose of exactly what your deepest psychological wounds require. He bypasses your standard emotional defenses by providing exactly what you have been longing for. When neural pathways are flooded with external validation, they release massive amounts of dopamine, the mechanism activated by addictive substances. Your brain physically reorganizes its reward system around this surge. You transition from emotional attachment into literal chemical addiction. The early euphoria was a manufactured simulation. It was a performance designed to wire your brain for absolute dependency, preparing you for the second phase of the trap. Once the dependency is established, a shift occurs. It is subtle at first. He takes slightly longer to reply to messages. The overwhelming intensity begins to cool, and his presence begins to retreat. Because your brain is now chemically reliant on his warmth, you register this minor drop in temperature instantly. A chemically driven panic sets in, signaling a severe threat, demanding you fix the perceived problem. You react according to your conditioning. You try harder, you reach out more frequently, you suppress your own boundaries, becoming softer, more eager to please, in a desperate attempt to restore the initial euphoria. This flowchart visualizes intermittent reinforcement. Your input of effort remains constant, but his rewards arrive at unpredictable intervals. Sometimes he answers warmly, other times nothing. This slot machine unpredictability breeds deep obsession, forcing you to double your efforts to trigger the prize.
The moment you instinctively reach forward to close the gap he created is the exact moment the psychological trap firmly locks. With the trap closed, active devaluation begins. It arrives in small, deniable doses. A comment about you being too sensitive, a quiet comparison to an ex-partner. These incidents are small enough that explaining them to a friend makes you feel unreasonable. Every casual dismissal serves a strategic purpose. He is methodically dismantling your confidence and severing your trust in your own perception of reality. To prevent the sudden bursts of coldness, you reorganize your entire personality around his demands. You suppress your genuine opinions and abandon your preferences, bending your sense of self to keep his emotional weather stable. The devastating truth is that the man you are twisting yourself to please never existed.
He was a mirror, reflecting your deepest unmet needs back at you and turning them into a weapon. By eroding your self-worth, the manipulator ensures his target is easy to control. A person who has lost their sense of identity becomes the easiest subject in the world to dominate or to discard. Months after the discard, your first thought remains tied to him. Your brain is still running the installed program, analyzing signals, calibrating for his reactions, and scanning for a threat in an empty room. Psychologists define this state of high alert waiting as hypervigilance. This documented trauma response follows sustained psychological manipulation that rewires your nervous system to prioritize threat detection. Survivors navigate a profound paradox. You are mourning a partner who meticulously remembered your stories and looked at you with absolute devotion, while accepting that this entity was a fictional construction built solely for extraction. This grief is disorienting because of its origin. You are mourning the person you were before you learned to shrink yourself to fit inside his world. The true devastation is the silent erasure of your selfhood. You lost your preferences, your boundaries, and your voice to a relationship designed to consume them. Your openness, your capacity for trust, and your empathy are not flaws. They are the most vital qualities a human can possess. He did not find a broken person. He worked methodically to break down a whole one. Finding peace requires abandoning the search for his complex motives. The reality is simple. He executed this pattern because it served him. When you stopped perfectly reflecting his grand image, your utility ended. Reclaiming your mind starts with believing your own perception. That quiet feeling in your gut was not paranoia. It was your internal alarm system trying to hand you the truth through the fog. This comparison illustrates your primary defense. On the left, a timeline spiking aggressively in days. On the right, a connection building steadily over months. The most reliable shield against manipulation is relentlessly evaluating the pace of a connection. A predator must move with extreme speed to overwhelm your boundaries before you can assess his character. Genuine love respects your pacing. It sits comfortably with unanswered texts, ordinary doubts, and the slow process of getting to know someone. Surviving this psychological warfare leaves you with the specific knowledge to recognize a manufactured illusion. You are now prepared to protect your psychological territory and demand that any future connection occurs slowly, honestly, and with both feet on the ground.